the world's top foreign ministers are in India for the G20 meet. Russia, China versus the West. Can India be peacemaker? Foreign ministers meeting in Delhi is key for the joint resolution expected in September at the Heads of State Summit. LPG cylinder prices hiked by 50 rupees. These are the highest LPG prices since 2014. Concern over the impact on inflation. India's worst heat wave ahead, a red alert. The weather department warns that between March to May, Gujarat could touch 50 degrees. North and central India will see high intensity and high frequency heat waves above normal temperatures in most of India except in South India. Arvind Kejriwal's defiant reaction, saying that if Manish Sisodia, Satendra Jain join BJP today, they'll be out of jail. Meanwhile, Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj are to join the Delhi cabinet as new ministers. The BJP and Congress protest in Delhi against AAP's corruption. A major U-turn by the Congress President Kharge. He said, I never said that the Congress should lead an opposition alliance. We're not naming a Prime Minister face or who lead. We must all fight together. The Congress outreach on Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin's birthday, but a divided opposition at his birthday bash as many, Mamta, KCR and Kejriwal, stay away. The UK Foreign Secretary brings up the issue of BBC surveys with Foreign Minister Jai Shankar. Sources tell NDTV that he was told firmly that all entities in India must comply with all relevant laws. Meanwhile, foreign funds permission is withdrawn from noted think tank, the Centre for Policy Research. They issue a statement saying confident the matter will be resolved speedily according to our constitutional values. And from clean-shaven to his flowing beard and now a new look at Cambridge University, Rahul Gandhi's many avatars. Our lead story tonight, the world's top foreign ministers are in New Delhi. Maha Siddiqui is tracking that. And Maha, we're talking about India being peacemaker at the meeting tomorrow. But first, there's a dinner on right now where India has to be peacemaker as well.
Yes, absolutely. A dinner diplomacy is also very important, and usually it's an informal ground where leaders talk to each other. But some of the major leaders, for instance, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is yet to arrive, so he is not going to be present at the dinner. The German foreign minister is also going to arrive only after the dinner. We understand that even the Chinese foreign minister, at least that's what we've been told by sources, is yet to arrive. Also, the fact that there are contentious issues, and the Russian foreign minister Sergei Lavrov arrived last night and will be present at the dinner. All these equations playing out at this informal setting as well. Right behind me, Taj Palace is where this dinner is being held. Meanwhile, the bigger concern for India at the moment, Sonia, clearly is whether or not a joint communique will pass through, one that did not pass through in the finance ministers meeting in Bengaluru only last week. There is concern, but India is saying that it will put together all its diplomatic effort to push it through.
In less than 24 hours, these foreign ministers of key G20 nations will either make or break the possibility of arriving at a joint resolution, a key step in the G20 process of which India is the president. The stumbling block is Ukraine. There was no resolution last week when finance ministers of G20 nations met in Bengaluru, and it appears that the divisions are stuck on the issue of Ukraine.
It is true that the war in Ukraine is disrupting global energy markets, it is disrupting global food supply at a time where we already have a lot of challenges in the global economy.
The Russian Foreign Ministry says Lavrov will openly talk about the reasons and instigators of the current serious problems in world politics. The United Kingdom says it will continue to call out Russian aggression in Ukraine. And the European Union says it will convey a strong message on Russia's blatant violation of international law.
Given the nature and the developing situation in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, naturally that would be an important point of discussions during the G20 foreign ministers meeting.
Indian diplomats remain cautiously optimistic despite a breakthrough at the foreign ministers' meet.
India is putting out an ambitious agenda for the G20 foreign ministers meeting. But the threat of the Ukraine war overshadowing all other issues remains quite real. With Russia and China objecting to 2 paras of the outcome document in Bengaluru, India is putting all its diplomatic effort in trying to get a consensus going for a joint communique in New Delhi. But are the differences too wide at the moment to bridge? That is the question that looms large. With camera person Kanan Patra, this is Maha Siddiqui in Delhi for NDTV.
And the UK Foreign Secretary has brought up the issue of the surveys on the BBC with India's Foreign Minister. Sources have told NDTV that India firmly responded, saying that all our entities operating in India must comply with Indian laws and regulations.
Well, I didn't see the documentary, but of course I have seen the reaction both amongst the Indian diaspora community in the UK and here in India. Of course, the BBC is an independent organisation. It's separate from government. And I have found that I still enjoy a very, very strong professional relationship with Dr. Jaishankar. I'm enjoying a fantastic hospitality here in Delhi. So I think the relationship between the UK and India is as strong as ever. It's growing stronger by the day. And I'm very much looking, whilst I'm here in Delhi, to build on what is already a good bilateral relationship.
And the Home Ministry has today suspended the foreign contribution regulation license of prominent public think tank, the Centre for Policy Research. They say it's over violation of laws, according to Home Ministry officials. This affects CPR's ability to get any foreign donations. This came after income tax surveys on CPR and earlier on Oxfam India in September last year. So this has been suspended now. CPR has issued a statement saying they're hopeful the matter will be resolved speedily by the spirit of our constitutional values. Well, the other headline we are tracking, LPG cylinder prices have been raised by 50 rupees. They're now currently the highest since 2014 at over 1100 rupees a unit. The concern is also over the impact this will have on inflation.
A 50 rupee per cylinder hike in domestic gas prices has made its cost the highest in almost a decade. The latest hike means 54-year-old Neena Devi, a daily wage labourer in Nagaland's Kohima, may have no choice but to switch back to cooking food on her clay stove to feed her family of 5.
हाजरा हो रहा है, हाजरा कर रहे हैं, हाजरा में डेली के कमाते हैं, खाते हैं, हो गया, बचता नहीं है, नहीं बचता है।
तो रह गया बात, नई गैस में उठाएंगे तो क्या करें, चूल्हा छोड़ कर खुरी पर खाना बनाना पड़ेगा, वैसे करना ही पड़ेगा, उपाय नहीं है सर। सरकार से यही प्रार्थना करेंगे कि थोड़ा बहुत कमती हम लोग का गरीब को देखना चाहिए, यही और प्रार्थना, और क्या करेंगे सर।
2,000 kilometers away in eastern Uttar Pradesh's remote Sonbhadra district, a middle-class household has similar concerns.
त्योहार आ रहा है, होली आ रहा है, फिर भी गैस का दाम और 50 रुपया ज़्यादा कर दिए। ये सबसे हमारे किचन पे बहुत प्रभाव पड़ रहा है कि कैसे मैनेज करें, होली आ रहा है, कैसे हम मतलब अपना बजट देखें।
The hike in LPG prices triggered this protest outside the Madhya Pradesh Assembly by Congress MLAs.
The steep hike in prices of cooking gas comes as a double whammy for families, particularly from the lower income households. These are families that are already reeling under inflationary pressures with skyrocketing prices of oil, pulses, milk and basic items needed for survival. With Priyanshi Sharma in Delhi and camera person Sanjay Chakravarti in Kohima, Vedant for NDTV.
Another big concern for inflation will, of course, be crops and what happens in the coming season. This as weather predictions are warning that we could see our worst heat waves, high intensity and higher frequency. In fact, the Weather Department's forecasts say that temperatures in Gujarat could touch up to 50 degrees, with north and central India facing the worst heat.
February was the hottest in 122 years, with the average temperature touching 29.5 degrees. What are the reasons behind the temperature across the country on an average breaking an all-time record? To begin with, western disturbances that trigger snowfall and rainfall over the northern part of the country and change the wind pattern to cooler winds, those were missing this time around. The ones that did come about were not strong enough. Therefore, dry northwesterly winds, which usually control the temperature, those were missing. This time around, western disturbances led to just about no rain or snow, the two crucial reasons on which the length or duration of winter depends upon. So dry weather conditions coupled with warm winds led to a spike in temperatures. Adding to that mix was the anticyclone. That's a pattern that takes place every single year, but usually around the end of February or early March. This time around, it had set in earlier than time. Now that ended up making the temperatures 3 to 5 degrees more than usual in many places. Now the impact is already being felt on the power supply in Punjab. The demand shot up by 25% in February as compared to last year. Now, can we expect a similar pattern to follow in the months ahead, given that last March and April were the hottest on record since 1901? Unfortunately, I'm the bearer of bad news. Temperatures will be even hotter than what's usually the case in March, April and even May. There are higher chances of heatwave spells this year, and also the intensity and frequency could be higher, and the much needed relief from heatwave comes in the form of rain, and that too is expected to be below normal in northwest India, in west and central parts of the country, as well as parts of east and northeast, which highlights the impact of global warming. Well, the Met Office is also predicting the temperature in Gujarat, which is the hottest part in the country, to touch 50 degrees. Already, when we take into account the temperature there has touched 39 degrees in Bhuj. Brahmapuri close on the heels at 37.8, Ahmedabad 37 degrees. Then we have the temperature around 36 degrees in Chandrapur, Surat as well as Baroda. When we talk about Mumbai, Mumbai is feeling the heat at 34 degrees, 33 degrees in Agra. Delhi is 7 degrees more than it should be at this point in time at 32 degrees. Jaipur is 4 degrees off the mark, which is also the case in Missouri.
Thanks, Divya. And the political temperatures are soaring as well. So two big political stories today, Ankit, both with Kejriwal. Now again, he's one of the politicians after Narendra Modi is agile in changing strategy, a big change in strategy. And also what Mallikarjun Kharge said, the Congress is speaking in a different voice. Let's just look at what happened first today as the announcement came that there will be two new ministers for the Delhi cabinet. Those are education for possibly could be Atishi, who's the current MLA, and Saurabh Bharadwaj, another MLA, will be coming into the Delhi cabinet. Also protest today by the BJP and the Congress. And here's what Arvind Kejriwal said today after he met with MLAs and councillors.
हमने अपने दोनों मंत्रियों को इन्होंने जेल में डाला है, दोनों मंत्री बदल दिए। आतिशी जी और सौरभ भारद्वाज दोनों शानदार लोग हैं, प्रोफेशनल लोग हैं, पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं, अच्छी एजुकेशन वाले लोग हैं, ये दोनों अब संभालेंगे। जो अच्छा काम सिसोदिया जी और जैन साहब कर रहे थे, वो अच्छा काम अब ये दुगनी गति के साथ चलेगा। किसी हालत में हम काम को रुकने नहीं देंगे। एक और बात उठती है, आज अगर मनीष सिसोदिया जी बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर लें तो क्या वो कल उनकी रिहाई नहीं हो जाएगी? छूट जाएंगे, वो कल ही छूट जाएंगे, वो सारे मुकदमे सारे खत्म। आज अगर सतिंदर जैन बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर ले तो सारे मुकदमे खत्म, कल वो जेल से बाहर आ जाएंगे।
So Ankit, we can see there an aggressive Arvind Kejriwal, but this is a setback to his political plans. What is his game plan now in the run-up to both the state elections? You had mentioned that he's got a lot of rallies planned, and of course for 2024.
Well, there has to be a rethinking, and Mr. Kejriwal is back to the drawing board, Sonia, as far as his strategy is concerned. So what next actually for Mr. Kejriwal? You saw an example today. He's back to aggressive posturing against the BJP, a direct attack on the BJP, though he fell short of naming, in fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He would avoid a direct attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a strategy that he had, in fact, used in 2015 and also 2020 elections in the national capital. The focus for the Aam Aadmi Party has to be back on putting the governance on Delhi on track, because that has been suffering because of the ministers now resigning and, of course, being in jail. He has to consolidate and also solidify the pan-India party base, as far as the party is concerned. The national expansion plan are at this moment being rolled out, but the national ambitions for 2024 may have to take a back seat. 2024 could be a test of strength for the Aam Aadmi Party, but the real target, the real aim is now 2029 general elections. The Aam Aadmi Party is also looking at forging new political alliances. They feel that they have been completely left alone in this battle. No political party largely joining them on the streets to protest. And the Aam Aadmi Party is also focusing on cultivating a stronger bench strength. After Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain, it just looked like out of the 62 MLAs, Mr. Kejriwal is still finding it difficult to find suitable, in fact, changes as far as cabinet is concerned.
That's an interesting point that you're making about forging new political alliances, because we saw recently in Delhi that you had Tejasvi Yadav meeting the Delhi Chief Minister. So many non-Congress opposition parties is whom Arvind Kejriwal seems to be reaching out to, but the Congress also changing its stand with Mallikarjun Kharge's new statement at Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin's 70th birthday. Tell us about that.
You know, it's very, very interesting. In fact, a birthday celebration turned into a photo op opportunity, and largely for those who did not attend this celebration than those who actually came. Akhilesh Yadav was there. Mallikarjun Kharge also made his presence felt, and also was present there was Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Tejasvi Yadav. But notable absence, of course, was Mamta Banerjee and also Arvind Kejriwal, who is right now battling a crisis in the national capital. Mallikarjun Kharge made a very, very interesting point. He came out and said that we will decide later who leads the anti-BJP alliance. At this moment, it is important for political parties to come together. This is an absolute contrast to what he said just a few days back at the Raipur plenary session, where he said the Congress is going to lead the government or form the government in 2024, and other opposition parties will have to support the Congress party. They will have to give in to the leadership of the Congress party. Now, there are two ways to look at it. A, Mr. Kharge, of course, was when he was speaking to the Congress cadre, was speaking a different line so that he could motivate them. But in Tamil Nadu, possibly there is realization where the Congress party is a junior partner, a minor player dependent on the DMK, that such bluster may not work. It is also the realization setting in the principal opposition party that they possibly have to move in more distance than others for an anti-BJP front to be forged ahead of 2024.
All like-minded opposition parties must come together in this fight against the divisive forces. That is our desire. I never said who will lead, who will become the Prime Minister.
A push for opposition unity and a national pitch for Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin at his 70th birthday celebrations in Chennai, but only just, with the focus not just on those who attended. Among those present, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge. His party is the DMK's ally in Tamil Nadu. Former UP Chief Minister and Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav. Bihar Deputy Chief Minister and RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav. And former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister and National Conference leader Farooq Abdullah.
Together to build a strong India.
The celebrations were held amid a political churn, following the arrest of Delhi Deputy Chief Minister and AAP leader Manish Sisodia, which the DMK has slammed. But the Aam Aadmi Party did not attend.
Political parties should rise above their differences and stand together as a unified force to defeat BJP in the upcoming parliamentary elections.
Let us forget who is going to become the Prime Minister. Let us first win the election, then think who is going to become the Prime Minister.
Sources said Bengal Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee has not been invited, as she has been keeping a low profile since the election for president and lending only issue-based support to the opposition, even inside Parliament. Sources also said Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao and his Delhi counterpart Arvind Kejriwal were not invited, because the DMK does not want to antagonize its ally, the Congress, which is pitted against these parties in their respective states. Also not present, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy, who keeps a neutral profile, and Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, who has a go-it-alone policy in Odisha.
Key federalist issues like GST, Citizenship Amendment Act, which we are all united in opposing, has brought us already together on an ideological platform. Of course, the political alliance will only be stitched once the elections are announced, but all these parties are already working in tandem.
With just a year to go before the national election, the last big show of opposition unity took place in January, when Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao took the first step towards building a non-Congress opposition front, with the maiden meet of his party, the BRS, since it went national.
MK Stalin had proposed the name of Rahul Gandhi as Prime Ministerial candidate in 2019, ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. While the DMK had swept the polls, the Congress did a poor show. Now, as Chief Minister, MK Stalin is again playing the role of an alliance architect, hoping the opposition parties would flock together ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections and catapult him for a larger national role. In Chennai, with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find TV.
And a look at the markets, which bounced back after 8 sessions. The Sensex gaining today by 448 points, the Nifty gaining by 146 points. All sectoral indices ended in the green today. Metals and PSU banks gained the most. The rupee also strengthened at 17 paise, ending at 82 rupees 50 paise to the dollar. And Moody's has upgraded India's 2023 growth forecast to 5.5% versus 4.8% earlier.